Okay, so this is a new AirSim tutorial. I'll take you through all the steps that you need to know to properly be able to run a sim. So starting off with, first you should have build downloaded on your laptop or your PC. And how are you gonna access the file? There's two ways. One could either be just you open up the build app, or you could find the file or the folder where you've saved all the files. So you open up the folder, and for now, we're going to go to 24 season because the new bodywork is still not complete. But you go to bodywork 2024 and then arrow and then arrow bodywork. And then over here, you should find the bodywork assembly. Okay, so you should open this. And once you open this, it should show you this. This should pull up. And um, if there's anything broken over here, like just check the CAD and see if everything's fine. But if anything looks broken, just let us know. So along with this, we also want to open up another file. So you go to, again, over here in build, then you go to 25 season, arrow throwing, and then you open up this 25 throwing file because that's our this year's throwing. And you have to basically insert that component here. So you find that, you insert it, so it should just pop up like that. So what I'm going to do here is just right click on this wing and hide it. And then you're going to right click on this wing and float this configuration. After that is done, you find the throwing, and the design tree should generally be at the bottom right here. And you drop that down. And over here, now we're going to constrain the wing from not like moving around like that, right? We want it to have in a set position, and we use that using planes. So the first maybe we're going to do is the right plane. So what you're going to do over here is you're going to click on right plane in the front wing again, and then you scroll up all the way and hold control and click on the top plane. And then you click on the mate option right here on the top, and then that's going to mate it, and that's going to make it look like that. Then you hit OK, and then you close out of this mate, and then you scroll on again. This time I want you all to find over here, this should be called as the wheel plane. So you click on that, and wait, what? Oh, okay, that's right. And you go all the way up, and again you find the right plane this time, and you click on that while holding control, and you made it. Okay. So basically, why I'll ask you to hold control is that y'all can select multiple things at the same time. So y'all can select these two planes together and just mate them instead of going to mate and then dropping this down and finding it here and there. Sometimes it lags or like just acts stupid, at least for me. But that's why I just avoid it. That's why I just do it this way. After that, you want to click on the top plane of the front wing, and then you want to hold control and click on the front plane of the whole bodywork, and then you should just click on mate, and that should put your front wing right in position. This is basically how we made every single part in here. Generally, the bodywork has its own base planes. Some of the parts like radiators, actually it's only the radiator mainly, and that which it causes a little bit of pain doing mating, but y'all don't have to worry about that. So after that is done, you have to find the radiator arrow model in the assembly. This is right here, 24 powertrain, cool radiator arrow model. So you drop this down, and you go all the way down to the part, and you should find this combine 1. So you have to suppress this combine 1. What I'm over here doing is that we have these bunch of tubes and extrusions that we don't need in the sim, and we need to kind of fix this one, but like I'll fix this, and so that we don't have to keep doing this step every single time. But you basically have to hide this tube thing. So you scroll up to all the way up to the part again, and you find this solid bodies option right here, and you hide this tube, and then you show this thing. So just right click on these options and you should be able to see these things. And now for the last step, after that is done, you have to find the enclosure. So it should be like right here at the top in the assembly, and you right click on that and you show components. So that's basically how we have to do SolidWorks over here. And after that we can then jump into Spaceclaim stuff. So before you do that, you make sure you save this as a step file. So you go to downloads, and then you do step AP214, and you name it whatever you want. So like for example, if you're working on throwing attack of angle change, so I don't know, so throwing AOA change, and then if you want, you can, to make things easier, you can type down the configuration like, this is my first run, this is my second run. So like, let's just put this as first run, okay? I'll just name it for me because I don't confuse it with something else. But so you save this, and this will prompt up. You just say no, because it's just gonna, there's a bunch of parts in here that are not necessary. It will just show all of them in here, which we don't want that. So when Spaceclaim is open, this is just already a file for me, but what you'll have to do over here is that over here you see fluid flow fluent. You basically drag it out and put it wherever, like here, wherever you want. I'm not gonna do it, but that's how you create things. So it will just show question marks everywhere, but like, just ignore these text online. So you right click on geometry, and then you replace geometry, and you browse for one, and then you go to downloads or wherever you saved it, and you find right here your step AP214 file, and then you open it.
So this should just usually just be like that. And so what you want to do first here is just hide this enclosure, and here you can see your car right there. And also there's some Spaceclaim basics for those who know this. You press down your scroll wheel to move around about the part of the car, and then you can hold control and then press down the scroll wheel to move left and right like that. And then you can hold shift and then press down the scroll wheel control to zoom in and out. It's just some small tricks that you can use if you want. I mean, you need to use some of them, but anyways. So over here, we need to first off suppress every single thing in here in the name tree except for the enclosure. So what we do, so one trick is to hold shift and then left click on this one, and then left on the first name and left click on the last name. That should select all of them, and now if you hold control and click on enclosure, that should deselect it. And then just right click and suppress your physics. So you basically suppress everything except for the enclosure. That's like just like a fast way of doing it. But anyways, after that is done, you have to delete this one radiator. It's just extra. We don't need it because we run half Carsons, and it's just faster and more efficient. So over here we just right click on it and delete it. So after that is done, we can start doing Spaceclaim stuff. So first off, we want to delete this body from the main bodywork, this human from the bodywork. So make this extra portion. So we just click on this, and then we click on this, and that should highlight pink right here using that combine tool. And you click on the pink area, and it should just be like this guy. Also, drop down the side panel and just delete this surface. It's just a little annoying to deal with. You don't need it. So all the meshes are solids except for I think this is a surface, but I think it turns solid. I don't remember exactly, but yeah, but most of our sims are generally on the solids. So so after that is done, you hold control while on the combine tool. You click on the body, on the person, then the bodywork, and then this wing. So that should just basically make this whole thing into one part. And also drop down side depth and delete this face right here. But again, it's just a hindrance at times, and it's just there in the CAD for CADing purposes. It just carries on. But after that's done, now we have to do some pulling. So first, go down to the side of the Undertray over here, right here, and there's a Sidepod here, and you have to just click on this and this type 2 and press enter. So using the pull feature. So that's why we do this is because we want to create like intersection points between parts, because we don't need this part right here. Like this is not necessary to us at all. So we need to cut this part out. So after that pull is done, we're not going to cut it out yet. We have to like scroll down to the underside of the car and zoom in to here. And you see this leading face right here, which is right there. This leading face of the Undertray. Press on that. You click on that and type 3 and enter. That's gonna again pull it forward for our so we can cut it out with the bodywork, which I'll show you how. And after that step is done, again you go to the underside. You click on this face, and then you scroll upwards to the top side of the Undertray. So that was our bottom right there. Zoomed in, and you zoom out, and you can just go up here and press U, and then click on this face. So that's basically going to pull that face down to that Undertray. And why we're doing this is because we do not want a gap between the bodywork and the undertray, because it will create bad mesh cells, and they will give us inaccurate numbers because in reality our undertrays aren't mounted like that. So um, you just need the sim to be as accurate as possible too. So anyways, after this is done, it should say like something like that. And then you don't click out yet, and just type 40 and press enter. I feel like Mrs. Step just like control you, and you should be fine about it. But after that is done, now we can start doing some cutting stuff. So over here, first off, we want to cut the side pod off from the under tray, so like this under area that we saw. So you click on the side pod, and you click on the under tray, and that should let you delete two parts here. So you should have that thing again. So one is this, and the other one is a small one right here. It's like between the under tray, like it's in literally between this gap right here of thickness of the under tray. So you delete that too, and it should just be two cuts there, and it should just start hanging yellow once you cut everything out. And after that, you cut out the side part from the body. So you click on the side part and then you click on the body, and that should let you delete this extra surface inside. So you click on that, you delete that. After that, you can now delete the body of the undershape. So this extra extrusion that we did here, we don't need this. So you just click on this and you click on that, and just cut these two out. Also, this I would suggest that you all do all this in the specific orders and not do in your own orders, because it can cause problems sometimes. But feel free to just explore, I guess. But just after the study, I'll just do these in exact order. But anyways, so now we click on the pull feature, and first off, we gotta pull this bodywork thing right here. So you double click on this line. So anyway, so just another basic thing is that if you want to select multiple things like that are connected to each other, um, you just double click on that either face or the line edge, and that should like highlight the whole thing or select the whole thing. So you just double click on the line and you type 10, and that should pull this. And the main reason for this is that we don't, so meshes don't like sharp edges and contours which are less than 90 degrees. So for example, this over here looks like a 90 degrees, like less than 90 degrees, probably like a 70 degree, right? So it can create bad mesh cells. Over here, it might not be the case, but it can be. And another area that definitely creates bad mesh cells is right here, like this small pocket of like undertray, because that is just bad for your undertray. Sorry, bad for your meshing. It'll just create tiny mesh cells if you don't want. And after that pull is done, you can go to the side of the undertray, and you have to pull this back to where it was before, because we want original parameters, because this is technically outside bounding bounds, which is illegal. So you have to put this back to where it is. So you press U. So you click on that face, press U, and then you click on this face, so it's just going to pull it back to where it was. Similarly, you have to do this for here too. So I don't know if there's like a bug or like a visual bug or something, but for some reason Spaceclaim wants you to do it like for it to work properly, you should do it from like the middle of the under tray, like middle of the bodywork selecting. So just like go to like the front side of the bodywork of the assembly, and then you zoom into this leading edge right here. It's like this leading edge of the under tray right there, like it's basically that one. And then you press U, and then you um, find that inside front face right here, which is that face right there, and over here. So you just click on that, and this is gonna pull it the under tray back to where it was. Yeah, I just need to check that. Sometimes I don't know why, but this creates like this gap here, like there, like that gap. I don't know why, if it's a visual bug or what, but let me just redo that step, because I have no clue what that happens. It's just a bug. But sometimes, like most of the time, it just like when you redo it, it's gone. But let me just see. Let's do- All right, now it's gone. See, so I don't know, like it's a little weird. Just check for this. I'm really I'm confident. I think this is just a visual bug, but it's better to be safe than sorry. So anyways, after that is done, so you just have to um, again go down to the under tray side in the same area, and you have to start doing some pulls, because this area right now is still not the best for mesh cells, because this is like a sharp angle, and sharp edges are not the best for sims. So you just double click on this line and you type 1.5. So using the pull feature, by the way. So this is just pull feature, just like a friend here. Like it just helps us make sure that our meshes aren't bad, or like just kind of fixes situations. And also, I'll get to that. But that's another cool feature that we finished. So now we want to combine all these things, not all these, but a few of these things together. So click on the sidepod first. You need to combine two, hold control, click on the sidepod. Then while holding control, click on the Undertray. And then you click on the body. Um, After that, you go back to the go to the backside of the sidepod, and you hold control, and you click on this outer shell, like not the inside, not the radiator, the shell of the radiator, and not the space either, the shell right here. So hold control and click on that. So that's just to help us make our cuts easier. And after that is done, now we can start cutting these parts out of the enclosure. So um, also over here, sometimes they don't suppress this stuff. So just right click on those parts and you can suppress them. And for some reason, side panel just like it disappeared kind of. It's not letting me suppress it because it doesn't exist basically. So you can just delete it out of here, and that should be fine. Yeah. So now you can go ahead and drop down enclosure and enable your boss extrude one. Um, So now we're going to start cutting out our parts, our part into that enclosure, which is our fluid, which is where we run our sims, right? This is our this is our tunnel, our wind tunnel. So, um, so yeah, and also a trick to navigate like around Spaceclaim is that you just click on a face that you want to rotate about, and you can just like click on this dice thing to like go to z-axis, your y, your x, it's just easy in that sense. But yeah, I generally use it a lot just to keep things easy. But anyways, so you wanna go to the combine tool and click on the enclosure and then click on the bodywork. That should cut out all of your side pod, your inward wing, your under tray, and then the shell that we selected out in one go. And then after that, you want to delete out the front one. Then you want to delete out the powertrain or the engine. And then you want to do the exhaust. Don't forget the exhaust. And then you want to do the rear wing. And then you want to do the frame. And also one more tip is that if you wanna like if y'all can find what y'all need to delete, like for example, sometimes it's just hard to find what to delete because you can't like look like this. These are like kind of hard to spot, but like once you like do these a lot, you can easily find them. But another trick to um, cut these out is you can just literally go to your design tree, and these two solids weren't there before. Like I can show you. So I just Control Z, right? And I haven't cut these out yet. So I click on this and I click on the frame, and if you can see here, the solids pop up right here. These two. So you can literally just click on these, and it will automatically cut it out. Like you don't need to. That's stuff. It's literally just cut out the main things that you need to cut out. That's as simple as that. So that's another way y'all can do it. It's just a trick, but I don't really do it because I already know where stuff is, but it's just easier to know. Okay. Anyways, let's move on to the wheels. So you scroll to the downside of the enclosure, and then you find these wheels. So you click on that, and you click on here. You click on that, and you click in here, and that should mainly be all the cuts. You also have to do a few things before we can actually cut the rest of the stuff out. So you right click on boss extrude and hide others. So you should just look like it should just look like this. Also, oh yeah, sorry, I forgot, but just Control Z and hide boss extrude one real quick. You also have to create a plane on the backside of the sidepod. So you click on this, you see, like, go to the backside of the sidepod, and you see this space right here? So you create a plane about this space. So this is just basically to cut out the sidepod, and uh, that's how we need to do it, otherwise it's just wrong. So you just right click on boss extrude and hide others again. And this time what you gotta do is you gotta combine, and you click on this plane. So it's just gonna cut out and just should be like that. If it's not like that, I do have a fix for that. So there's like sometimes I don't know, like there's some issues with SolidWorks, but it shouldn't be. I shouldn't be for most of the people. If y'all like if for some reason this cut is not appearing or something, just let me know and I already have a fix. I have a fix for that, but I'm not gonna include it here because I kind of want to keep this video as short as possible. But anyways, so after that is done, you can now cut out the radiator. So you click on the bodywork. So also, I think I missed a step to tell y'all, but after it's like this, you just hold control and you click on both of these and select hold control and you combine them basically back together because it's going to cut the whole enclosure and you don't want that. So you just combine them together again. And after that, you gotta cut out the radiator now. So you click on this and you drop down the cool radiator arrow model arrow right here. And then you right click on this, oh, sorry, not right click, just click on the split. And that should just be like that. Just click out in this empty area. And now what you gotta do is you gotta go to Workbench over here and you gotta share. So what this is basically doing is that it's creating two faces about the inlet or like the inside and the outside of the entry point of the radiator and the exit point of the radiator, because air is flowing through the radiator, right? So we have to measure the air going through it, and what this does is that it basically creates another face on the radiator, and like on both sides of the radiator, so that we can use them as like a plane to create the inlet and the outlet conditions for the radiator. So anyways, so you go back to design, and over here you just gotta go to the pull feature, and then you gotta pull 3 circles here. So just double click this while holding control. So just click that, and then you type 2 and press enter. You just kind of fill out these edges, and you also go to the downside now of the enclosure, and you double click this, and you double click that, and then you type 2.5, and don't click out yet. Go to groups right here on the bottom left, and then you control G, and that should be Contact Patch. So that's basically defining where our wheels are in contact with the enclosure. And after that, now you can start renaming everything else. So you just click on inlet, control G, and you name the inlet, sorry, the front face, and then control G the side, and you name the symmetry. And then you go to the back side and like the other side, and you click on this and you click on this, and this is going to be a slip wall. And then under is going to be your ground, and in the back is going to be your outlet. So, and one trick is, again, you can just like hide all these in one step. So you just click on this, shift click on that, and then hide. And you gotta hide every single part after you do the inlet selections, because so it just makes it like easier to select other parts. So anyways, so the trick, as we talked about, click on the face that you want to rotate about, and you click on the axes. So Z over here in that case, because I'm gonna upwards view to select a bunch of the parts like the wheel, the end plates. So yeah. Also another trick or tip, more of like the basics to using Spaceclaim, is that if you select from left to right, it will only select the parts that the faces that you fully are covering, like in this drag box right here. But like for example, like if I'm covering this, it's gonna be like select the vortex. Like, but if I do this whole thing, like that's gonna select the whole view. But if you do a right to left drag, you see the moment I touch a face, it's gonna select the whole of that face of whatever it touches. So like literally like that's if I just want to select the wheel, I can just do that. Literally like that, right to left, and that's done. That's gonna select all the faces for the wheel. So I would suggest that ideally just use left to right, because sometimes right to left can be a little unreliable, and it can be just not the best option. You might end up selecting the wrong thing by mistake. But so yeah, that's another trick. But anyways, let's just do this. So you go to like, also like name selections is kind of, I would put emphasis on precision for name selections, because it's good to have precise selection, because you don't want the wrong face selected, and it can just create small problems. So anyways, so you drag from left to right, and it should be 5 faces for the front wheel. You see the faces right here on the bottom right, and you control G this, and you name this F wheel. Okay, then you go to the back parts of the car, and then you go in. You can also go like from bottom front to down or down to up, doesn't matter. As long as it's just left to right, it should be fine. And you control G this, and you name this car wheel. And after that, you go to the front wing side again, and then you drag and you select this as the endplate, and then these two will be your inner endplate. Also see like over here, this is what I mean precision. So like if I'm doing that, you see this one looks normal, but over there I'm selecting a small face, which is actually the trailing edge of the wing, which we don't want to select because it's not a part of the endplate. So like it's just like, that's like why like I kind of have an emphasis on precision, but it's fine. So you just select the endplate right here. So this endplate and this endplate. So you control G this, and you name this inner space endplate. And why y'all are wondering is that why did I do these different? Because their chord lengths are different. So we deal with something known as inflation layers, like this basically about your boundary layers that Arjun talked about. And the inflation layers of each part can differ by their chord length. So their length from this to this distance. So you have to plug in your distance in meters into a calculator that we will share the link to later. So you have to basically plug that in, and for your Y plus target, usually we use 30 if I'm right, and you just gotta get that inflation number layer and you plug that into your mesh condition, which we'll do later in this video. But right now, I'm just letting y'all know why we do that. So after those are done, you just click on this and shift click on this, and then you hide these. So that should just basically make your life easier, just like other things. So now you double click on this, double click on this, double click on this, double click on this, double click on this. and you control G, and let's see, wing 1. And then over here, for some reason, under the geometry thing stupid. Like it just has a stupid face there, but make sure you like select that. But you click on this, you click on this, and you also click on that right there. And then you also click on the front face of the gurney. By the way, this rectangular thing that's like perpendicular to the wing is called a gurney. It's basically help to extract more downforce. So you click on these and it should be 5 faces. In general, it should be 4 with the correct geometry. I don't know why it's following this geometry, but I will work on fixing that. So this should be generally 4 faces, but if it's 5 faces, just make sure it's not anything else but that. Like this thing right here. So you control G this as wing 2. Okay, then you hold control and click on this and this. There should be 2 faces, and you write that I and B wing. Inward wing, basically. It's a short form. I and B wing. Then you go to the rear side, and then you click on this endplate and just click on X. And you kind of just scroll upwards like that, so you can select the rear endplate. So let's drag down, and that should be 9 faces, and you need that R endplate. So you left click, right click, hide. Then after that, you just gonna name these wings now. So that's gonna be our main. Then you gotta hold control. Then you click on this front gurney face. Then you click on this, the front gurney face here, and then this. That should be 5 faces, and that's gonna be your wing 3. And that is this and this face. So it's gonna be on the other side. So right now I'm doing on this side, and just go on the other side. So it should be 2 faces, similar to like how an order wing was, but it's just kind of in order, literally. So you control G that, and that's gonna be wing 4. And now we gotta do all the trailing edges for these wings. So you gotta just go to the front wing again, and then double click on this trailing edge, and just go to the right, double click on this trailing edge, and double click on this trailing edge. Also, sometimes you might misclick on an edge. So either you can just click out and just like misclick on it, or you can just like sometimes double clicking on the edge, double clicking on the edge can unselect all of them, but if it doesn't, you can just like literally like unselect them. It should, unless it's like too many edges, so you just have to restart. But it's not too bad, nothing too bad, just a line. So it's like be careful and make sure you're selecting the face and not the line, because it's on the edge. It's because it's really easy to do that. Anyway, so you double click on this trailing edge. It's just basically all the trailing edges of the wings. So for the gurneys, it's gonna be this back and the top only. Back on the top. Then for the inverted wing, it's gonna be here. And then for the rear wing, same thing. Back on the top. Hold control, by the way, just make sure. That, and then like that. And last one. So your total trailing edge should be 19. So basically now you click on this and shift click on this and hide these. Now all your wings are done. So now we can do the Sidepod. So we wanna double click on the Sidepod. So hold control and double click everything. So double click, go to the kind of like the front side, double click on this, double click on this, then you go to the back side and you double click on this inside face of the Sidepod. You double click on this, and you go to the back side, this over here, double click on this, and then you go to like towards like the body right here, and you double click on this. And over here, you might only see one face, but there's actually 2. If you zoom in really closely, you'll see another face here. So you double click on that too. And I just have it on double click because it selects multiple, just in case you miss something. Instead of single clicking, it's just easier. And there's one more face here, small face right here. You double click that. There should be 17 faces. These faces aren't ideal for swimming. And after that, now we can do the radiator. So over here, go back to structure. Oh. And you click on the solid, and you go back to groups, and you control G, and you name that your radiator. You right click on that, and you hide it. And you should just be left with like these faces. But you're talking about the inside, the inlet and the outlet of the radiator. So you control G this, click on that one face, and you name that in, and you click on this, and you name that out. And then after that, just find like a good angle like this. You can just select these wall right here, and it should be 8 faces. And you name this wall, and then you just right click and hide it. Now this is like the best part about name selections. My favorite, Undertray. So what you gotta do here is that this time you're gonna use right to left, but this is the only one time. Like it's an exception. So you go from right to left, keep it without touching the frame or the fuel tank right here. So you just gotta hold control and double click on this, and then double click on this, and then double click on this, double click on this, you double click on this, double click on here, you double click here, and then you go to the back side of the Undertray, like right here, and you zoom in, and this face is also double click, and then the side of the gurney or the air dam, you double click on that, and then the top side of the air dam, you double click that, and then you go to the front side of the Undertray, and the flat plates leading edge, double click that, and then the leading edge of the tunnels, double click that. And then over here, you double click this, and that if you the moment you double click this, it should like kind of look a little weird, but not really. And also it's selected on unnecessary face, so just like double click it again because it's selected like body too. So just single click this, and then you double click the bottom, and just looking for any missed faces. So over here, there's like 2 faces that missed. So you hold control and you double click on this too, and that should be 101. But again, Spaceclaim is Spaceclaim, and it does super shit. So right now we're just gonna control this and name this view. Okay, that's all we're gonna name. So you control, just right click and hide it, right? And over here, if you can notice, there's like a really tiny face here, which is so stupid, but it is existent. So you hold control, click on that, and then you click on this, and you control view this as Undertray. Now that's our full Undertray. So delete this and you hide this. That's basically all of Undertray's selections. Yeah, it's just, I don't know, it's just stupid, but can't do anything about it. And then after that, you just do left to right, select the whole body work, and that should be 247 faces. And you control do this, and you just make this body. You right click and hide. Okay, so after your mesh is open, it should just pop up like that. This shouldn't be there for y'all because y'all should not have any conditions or like any settings yet. But what y'all just gotta do is basically copy down all these settings that I have put in here. So I will kind of scroll through them kind of quickly because y'all just have to like pause after every single setting because it's like a lot. So I'll just quickly show y'all through them, and some of them I'll have to show you how to do. But so basically, you click on mesh first off, and that should pop you up with this all these multiple things. And so basically, so yeah, you gotta create a sizing, right? So you gotta create sizing for the part that you wanna mesh, and then you gotta create the inflation layer, which is your boundary layer for that. So sizing over here, you can just create over here, and then your inflation is right here. And you just gotta repeat it for a lot of things. So let's get into it. Also, let me just okay. So now your first sizing is going to be a body sizing. So also I would suggest y'all should rename your inflations and your sizings or your sizings because it's just organized and easier to understand. And if I'm correct, it also automatically designates these name selections like all these sizings which are ticked already after you like done this Spaceclaim. If it's not named, you have to reselect every single thing if I'm correct. I could be wrong, but I think so. So anyways, so after this you just name them as you go along the way. So you create sizing over here, you do the settings, then you go to your body inflation. So you create an inflation here, right here, and over here you should create geometry selection, and you should have a name selection over here. And so what you want to do is you want to press Control V, and you want to click on this big enclosure right here, and you go over here, geometry section, and click on this and apply. That's basically for every inflation, you will always just use this big enclosure and apply it there for every single inflation. Okay, so over here, and also how you get to the first layer thickness, you can just drop this, and it should generally be smooth transition, but you can just select first layer thickness and just copy down all these settings. And also click on mesh real quick and change this element size to 100 millimeters. Make sure your units are in metric right here, millimeter, kilograms, newton second. So yeah, so now let's create the F-field face sizing, front face sizing. Settings are right there, and then your F-field inflation. And then I'll just do this. And then your wing 1 sizing, your wing 2 sizing, your endplate sizing, and then your wing 1 inflation, your wing 2 inflation, and then your endplate inflation. And over here now you gotta create a few body sizings that basically and define all these enclosures or boxes that you see. Oh, also, yes, I forgot. You guys might be confused on why y'all can't see this. So the reason for this is because actually I have a section plane here. So how you do that is just go to quick launch over here top and you type section plane, and you click on this section plane right here. Okay, now you'll just see a big ass rectangle, right? But so what you gotta do is just you gotta like find like that width, like the perfect width to like be able to see these. And you know, since you don't have to, but I mean, just kind of better. But it's basically like draw a line down right that, okay, and it should kind of just cut it down. And over here, like your blue and your red caps should be like selected. So you just like unselect these blue and red, and it should then look like this. I think you just have to unselect blue. But after that is done, just let's get back to the sizing. So after the endplate inflation, you gotta create another sizing, and this one's just being the inflations. So sorry, the enclosure. So for all this, for the second scoping method, your geometry is always just going to be the big enclosure. And for this body of influence, so you just drop it down, and it should be at element size, and you just do body of influence, and then you click on this enclosure right here, and you apply this big one. Then you go to the next sizing, create another sizing. Again, this is going to be the big geometry, and then it's going to be this one, next one for that. And after that, you go to another body sizing, and you do the big enclosure again. And this time 15, that is going to be your Undertray one. So you zoom in, and you should see this tray right here. And then you hold Control, and you click on this box too. So it should be these two boxes. It's going to be a little confusing, but just take your time. And over here, you apply. It should be two bodies. Just make sure you're holding Control when you're selecting multiple bodies. Then to the next one, you big enclosure, and then 10 will be your throwing, two throwing boxes. So done, and two. And then this is going to be your middle box right there. So this should be those three bodies. And after that, you're going to create a contact patch face sizing, which is just going to be these settings. And then you got to create a trailing edge face sizing, which is going to be this. And then you got to create a trailing edge inflation, and just select the big enclosure, and you click on that. And you do got to do an RVL sizing, and then an RVL inflation, and then an undertray sizing, and then an undertray inflation, and then a Sidepod sizing, and then a Sidepod inflation, and then there's another body sizing that's just going to be again one of the boxes. So you can sizing, and then you click on this enclosure, and then you do this big one right in the middle, and then you apply, and then you create another sizing for the wall, and then you create another sizing for the radiator, and then you create a method. So over here, just click on method, and then just for scoping method from geometry to do to name section, and you should only see radiator, and over here it should be tetrahedrons, patch confirming, and use global settings, and no to suppressed. Then after that, you create another body sizing, and you just need an enclosure, and then you do the rear wing box. It's this box right here, the big one, biggest one, inside here. So after that, you gotta do another face sizing for the main element, and do an inflation for that main element, and then you gotta do for our endplate, and face sizing, and then you gotta do an inflation for that. Then you gotta do for wing 3, and then inflation for that. And then for inverted wing, then inverted wing inflation. And also, like when you click on the names, like just click out for it to select. And then that, the bring for inflation, and then inner endplate, and then your inner endplate and body size inflation. So that should basically be it for all these settings. Just make sure everything is ticked, and you should be good to go. Before this, you should also drop down connections over here and right click on contacts and delete children. And before you run your mesh, always check your geometry. It should only show this. That's all it should show. If it's showing other names too, you can go back to Spaceclaim, and then you just have to suppress everything for physics, because that's what generally like that's just not where we need to mesh. So you just need to mesh this enclosure. That's all we have to do. So after this, you have to verify these steps. You just click on mesh, and then you generate. Oh, and also, if after your mesh is generated, when you try to update it, if it just like closes the mesh and just says like I failed to update, that basically means that you have overlapped some of the name selections. So like you've selected the same face for two or more different name selections. So if you come up with that problem, just let me know, and I will help you all out with that.
Once your mesh is generated, right now for y'all this won't pop up like this graph here. It shouldn't pop up most probably, but So yeah, it will kind of look like this. I don't know why my section plane is not listed. Is it? That's interesting. Oh, it's lagging. But I'll show y'all how to check if your mesh quality is good or not. Because if your mesh quality is not good, your simulation numbers aren't going to be accurate. I don't know why this is happening, but it's not a big of a deal. But so what you want to do is that you want to search up, or actually you can just go right here, bro. So you drop down metrics display, and then you drop a metric graph, and then you click on aspect ratio. So after you click on aspect ratio, it should pop up a graph like this, and it'll give you like a bunch of numbers. And basically, you lower the number, like the highest number should be as low as possible. And 114 here, that means like really, really good. Like, oh, yeah, just meshes a little bit, but this means it's really good. If it's usually you'd want it around this range, lower the better, but anything close to or above 500 in aspect ratio can be concerning and something that you should fix, because there's definitely something wrong with the geometry. So like it could be some stupid edges that have not been filleted, or yeah, there's just some small geometry problems that needs to be resolved. And if you run into problems like that, just let me know, and I can get on a call with y'all and get stuff fixed. But anyways, after your mesh is generated, just take a look at this aspect ratio graph. It should be the same or similar for y'all. So after that is done, you have to click on update. So after it updates, it should just like basically like this part will be highlighted, and once like it's highlighted, it's gone, or like you can use the app again, or like the software again. It should have updated. And if it does not update, that's mostly probably because you have overlapping geometry for name selections, which is also an easy fix. It's not anything too complicated or too hard to do. So just let me know if y'all have problems with that. And but yeah, after the update is done, you can just close out your mesh. Mesh has been closed. It should be a tick right here. It should say that your mesh is complete. And after that is the next step, which is setup. So you right click on it and you edit it, and it will pop up with this upstream. Do you want to load new mesh? I don't think this will pop up for y'all because y'all creating this for the first time, but if it does, just say yes every single time, because it will after you're on multiple sims. So click start, and it might ask you for a bunch of permissions, and just allow every single permission whenever Ansys asks for it. Probably like 4 or 5 prompts at least, but yeah. So after that, this should just pop up, and you have to just give it like 5 minutes ish to load everything in. Okay, so after it's loaded, this might pop up, but it's nothing to worry about. So you just click OK. Over here, my settings are already been loaded in, but for y'all, it's not. So for now, we're just gonna just do the lazy way, kind of, because yeah, there's a lot of settings that need to be put in right now, but we can just do the quick way. So I will send you all a file called full body setup right here. So this is a text file, which is basically all these settings that you need to run your sim. You just need to make like a couple of changes here and there, but after that, it just should be really quick. So what you have to do is you have to find your folder where you saved your sim files. So over here, I saved it as front wing, and over here, these are all my files. Y'all might have less files in this, but so all we need is this fwing testing file, wherever your file name is, underscore files. So you have to open this up, and you go to dp0, and then you have to find which one is your mesh. It should just be ff2 or something like that for y'all, but just open this up, and you go to Fluent, and over here you just have to copy paste your full body setup file right here in Fluent dp. So I'll just go back again and show y'all. So fwing testing files, okay, you open dp0 and you find your fff. I ideally just want to paste it on all of them, just to be safe, but you open this, you find Fluent, and you just copy paste it, and just do it for every single one if you want. But so this is basically where our software is going to be like, okay, this is where the file is, and I will find it from this particular from the files directory. So over here now, you go back to your Fluent and you press enter one more time in the console right here, and you type file / and after that you have to type read -settings, and then it will ask you to input the file name, and your file name was full body setup. And also this is uppercase sensitive, so just be careful, uppercase and lowercase sensitive. And so make sure your S is capital over here, and you press enter. So now what this is going to do is that it's going to read all the settings in that file and load all the names or like the report conditions that we have to input to be able to run our simulation. So over here it's just going to quickly do that for me. And these might pop up, but the only thing is because the name selections are different from what these settings are saved in. So you just have to open out, drop down your report definitions, and you should have all these things right here. So you go to total CLA, or like double click on it, and you just select everything except for ground and slip wall, because those are not a part of the car. Those are just our fluid. And go to F1 CLA, and it's going to be wing 1 and wing 2 in your inner end plate and end plate. Okay? And then you go to rear wing CLA. Oh, I don't know what that's about. Oh, rear wing CLA, you have main, you have R end plate, you have wing 3, wing 4. Okay. And then undertray should be the same. Yeah. Okay. And R wing CDA is the same thing, wing 3, wing 4, R end plate. Okay. And then undertray CDA should be fine. For F wing CDA, you go wing 2, inner end plate, okay. And total CDA again, everything except for slip wall and ground. And you okay? And that's basically it. Actually, there's one more thing. You have to open up reference values, and you type compute. So you click on a compute from, and you type inlet, and you select this right here, inlet. Okay. And after this, you're basically done with setting it up. And now what we have to do is we have to save this as a case file. And why I say that is because this is basically like a 800 MB file compared to your, I don't know, 4 or 5 gig file that you'll have to upload to WinSCP, and this is just faster to upload and just convenient to work with. So all you have to do is click on file here, and you export a case file right here. Okay. And over here, you can rename it to whatever you want it to be. So I'm just going to name it to sim tutorial. Okay. And just, I think it's fine if you put spaces, like just make sure you don't delete these dots because it does not read it for some reason. But just like literally just delete everything before this .cas.h5, and you press OK, and that should basically now write this whole thing down into a compact file. Then you can upload it to WinSCP. And by the time this is saving, you can log into WinSCP real quick. So just open up WinSCP, and it will prompt up with your login. So you log in, and then you have to go to Duo to find your TACC token. And so I'll just put mine in real quick. Okay. If it does not let you log in, just change your password, and it should be fine. But if it still doesn't, then just like let us know. Let Jeffrey know because he knows better than me. But if you're not able to reach Jeffrey, you can always reach out to me or Arjun. Or we could also, by the time being, we could just apply for a TACC job, because the thing is that sometimes TACC, getting a node at TACC takes a while, and by the time you've all of this is done and your file is saved and uploaded, you might just get the TACC node. So you go to TACC analysis portal. Okay, it'll ask you to log in and stuff, and after your login is done, what you have to do is you have to drop down system here, so Lone Star 6, and your application is going to be VNC remote desktop, and your project is going to be DDM, whatever that is, and then you have to do development, if I'm right. Is it development? Yeah, it is. Okay. Oops. So yeah, just do that development, and also this is just like a convenience thing. Just type 1920 x 1080. So this is going to be your desktop resolution, because it defaults to like a really shitty or like a weird resolution, which like your screen scale is like really bad. And most of the laptops out there are set default to 1920 times 1080 desktop resolution. So just set it to that, and you can put in a job name too. So I'm just going to put sim tutorial for now. But it doesn't really matter. But just submit it over here. The file has been saved. So once once it's saved, you just want to make sure if it's actually there or not. So you go to DP0 and you go to FF8 and you go to Fluent. Actually, no, it's not here. It's going to be in mech. Yes. So over here, right here. So you go to FF8 and mech, or like your FF-2. It should be 2 for y'all, I think. So just go to this and it should be sim tutorial, which we'll name it, or we named it. So over here, just copy this. And in WinSCP, just make sure you're in your work directory because you might be in the wrong one. But that's not a big of an issue because even if you're in home directory, first off, I want you to note what number y'all are in because it will put in your own home directory with your designated folder. So over here, mine is 9711, and y'all will have something like maybe like 10 something something. So how y'all locate your work directory is by basically like you click on. Ooh, it's lagging. So yeah, so I think no, wait, that's not the right thing. Hold on, it's just lagging. So yeah, you go to root, okay, and over here, I usually just type do from name from down to up, but you open up work. Not work. I think there's 2 works, but just do the this work 2 and work. Just open up work, and then you find your number that you saw before, and mine was 9711. So I have to scroll all the way down, and I would suggest again you do the name from up to down because it's just faster to find. So yeah, right here, when you open it, and then it should be your UTEID, and you open that, and then you can over here just create a new folder. Just call it whatever sims, whatever you want to call it. I just call it front wing, and then open this, and there's another folder. What? Okay, sorry. So it was just loading. Yeah. So make sure you're saving this in the work directory. So just go ahead and copy paste your file. So okay, and it will paste, and it should be done in like a minute. Once you connect, it should pop up like that, and y'all won't be able to do this right now because this is the first time y'all using TACC, but there's one more trick that y'all can use is that hold your, oh sorry, not hold any, but like just press the up arrow and it will come up with the last prompt that you put in for launching TACC or launching Ansys on TACC. So instead of having to type it out every single time, you can just literally press the up arrow and it will load your previous line of code that you typed. So over here, I want you to, I don't know if y'all can see this, but it's just /scratch/tac/apps/ansys 2023 R2 /v232/framework/bin/linux 64/run wb2. It's a W. Or y'all can also just find that document in Google Drive, and it will have the same line of code there. Y'all can just copy. You can just look at it and type it out for there. And after you type it out, just press enter, and that will launch your Ansys. Okay, so after it's launched, it should just look like this, just blank. And also, y'all can just close out of Fluent. Just close out of it, and it will take probably a minute or 2 to close out of it. And also, just one thing is that I forgot to mention this before in the video, but always after you're done with each step, for example, after you're done with Spaceclaim, always click save because sometimes life can just be unlucky and your laptop can crash, or your PC can crash, and you lose all your progress and you'll just have to start over again. That's happened to me a million times. So just click save after you complete each step so that at least you don't lose your progress if something goes wrong. Just better like that. So yeah, so now Fluent is closed, so just save out of it, just save, and then you can just close out of it because we don't need it here anymore. So yeah, so now let's go to TACC. So over here, locate fluid flow fluent, and you drag it out and create a standalone system. And now you right click on setup and you click on import fluent case and browse. And right now you might be in your home directory. So again, what you can do is that you can just click on computer here and open this up and go to work, and it's the same thing again. You got to find your folder again. So just this one. So yeah, mine's 9711. I open that, my username, my folder, and then I'll have to find sim tutorial, which is right here. And I open that, and import image will not be compatible with the data. Yes, just click OK. And then it should have imported, and then over here you edit, and this time it's just going to pop up the one, and you have to type 128. That's the amount of cores we have to use. That's why TACC can do our sims so fast compared to our own laptops, because it takes forever, but these ones do really fast. So you start. Okay, so now your thing should load. I just clicked out of the OK, but you after this this shows up, just click OK, and I don't know why this always does this, but the reference values never save. So just type compute inlet again, and okay. And then over here, you want to go to initialization, and you initialize. And that should basically, quickly, we'll just check if your sim is good to go. And you already checked that in the mesh, and our sim is good to go. So, yep, if it's power 9, it's really good. If it's power 8, there's something a little like, it's not ideal, but it might be okay. And if it's below 0.6, that just something's just really wrong. So ideally you want to be 0.9. If it reaches 10, that's even better, but 10 is like really rare. But so after your initialization is done, you just go to run calculation, and you change the number of iterations to 300 instead of 200, and you just click calculate.